Chapter 2. Women's Night. The creatures of the night are alive, stalking the woods, seeking unfortunate ones caught in darkness. Jenna leans against the stone wall overlooking the dark forest below. A single star twinkles in the emerald sky like glistening gems above the horizon. The moons hang full, their light glazing treetops. Leaves rustle in gentle nudges of wind, reflecting the sheen of the 3 moons. They whisper, gossiping about things only trees would. Crickets chatter, saying hello. Some creatures call for mates while others hunt. She meditates on the forest full of peace and memories. The silence is broken by a faint roar, followed by an animal screaming. A Jabberwocky has found another victim. She hasn't heard one since leaving the nation 3 years ago. Jenna's familiar with the beasts. When she was 3, she lost her way in the forest outside the city walls. She wandered off from her mother looking for guava berries. They were her favourite. Dusk set in, and she lost her way back. She remembers the glaring eyes of the Jabberwocky. Yellow dotted eyes with a crimson speck in the centre. He hissed 2 large fangs. She wasn't afraid. Somehow she understood his mannerisms and gestures like a person. He hesitated, unsure if she were friend, foe, or food. "Hello," she said. His shoulders slunk low and his ears bowed. He squatted flat. His eyes were curious about her. She spoke again, but this time she was closer, running her fingers through his scaly fur. Her father told her it was a gift of the Shakana spirit to talk to nature. Not all light wielders had those talents. That was a long time ago. After his death, things changed. A cool breeze blows, and she wraps her brown shawl over her bushy braids. Jenna glides her fingers over the pale patches of skin on her wrists and arms. She hasn't felt the Shakana in years. Its magic lay dormant, preserved for the right moment in time. She remembers what her father and the prophets taught: never use it unless necessary. It's not intended to fight flesh but darkness. With each strike, you feel the pain of the person, and with each kill, a part of you dies. Over time, the Shakana spirit will die within you, along with its magic. "You've been here 3 days and back to old habits," says a voice. Behind her, a young woman approaches, wrapped in a purple shawl. She's thrown from her night meditation. "Hey, Amethyst." Amethyst removes the hood of her garment, revealing a bushel of locks. She leans next to Jenna on the stone ledge and stares into the night. "I see you're talking with the trees again. What are they saying?" "They say I should go home. There's nothing out here tonight but us boring trees." Amethyst raises an eyebrow. "I doubt they actually said that. Stop being lazy, it's women's night to watch the walls. You've been gone too long, leaving me with Aiden. Being married to your brother is a handful, you know. And I told you he was a headache before you married him." Jenna cuts a smile at Amethyst. She rests her hand on her arm, and her tone turns somber. "How have you been managing?" Amethyst leans closer to the ledge. "I'm holding to what little there is. It seems every day my soul aches. I remember holding him in my arms. Sometimes I still smell his scent. It's worse at night when I see him in dreams. I even hear him call, and when I look around I see nothing. I will admit, I see his spirit." Her tears reflect the moonlight. "I'm glad you are here, sister. But your brother is not right and won't talk to me about it. By day, he performs his civil duties to the prophets. But by night, he clings to a bottle of dragon's milk. He drinks himself to sleep, staring into the corner. What he's dreaming, I can only imagine. Sometimes, he'd rather spend time with the drink than me." Amethyst stares off into a trance. Aiden is a stern character with a rough surface that hides his emotion, interpreting it as strength. But drinking dragon's milk tells a different story. Losing their father was sad, but to also lose their son, now that rips the soul apart. She can see it eating away at Amethyst like a cancer, slowly killing her spirit. "I'm here for the family now," says Jenna. "We will sort through this darkness. The Death Angel has visited our family one too many times. I need to see my brothers, especially Kamau. Amethyst jolts back from the ledge, surprise in her eyes. You've been here 3 days and haven't spoken to them. I've been trying to muster the courage to approach Aiden. Amethyst nods. Oh, I remember that day. You and him had a heated argument about Matthias. I wasn't ready for marriage. There was no room in my heart for love then. I know it's tradition to marry when you're 21, but I needed space. Had to find myself. Did you find yourself while out there? I'm not sure. Besides, my father didn't approve of him either, and for that simple reason, I respect the decisions of father, not Aiden's. Matthias was ugly. His breath smelled like sour dung in the morning. His belly was wide as a jelly whale, which made him wobble when walking. I told Aiden that since he's such a good match, he should marry him. It's not how a man looks, Jenna, but his character and usefulness. There aren't many men in the nation that can wield light. Looks belong to us women. That's the problem, he has no character. He's a useless idiot. Jenna shudders at the thought of Matthias breathing hard while on top of her doing his duties. There is no way I will marry an empty-headed gorilla bull. She turns her gaze back to the forest below, hoping to cool off her emotions in the stillness. A scent rolls in the air. The musk odour of smoke permeates her nose and the trees whisper. Trees are nosy creatures. The type of tree doesn't matter. They see everything and gossip. The talkative plants couldn't hold a secret if it would save their lives in a forest fire. She leans closer to listen. Well, you know that's going to be the first thing your brother mentions, says Amethyst. You best get ready for... Jenna holds up her hand. Shush, the trees are speaking. What do they say? A dark frown hangs on Amethyst's face. Trespassers are here in the forest. There's something shaped like the moon but black as night and moving around. Tall creatures also walk as men carrying long metal poles. Those are guns and outsiders. The wicked people of the world rape Eden of her soil. The other nations build massive towers of concrete, metal and glass. Their so-called gadgets tread the ground and fly in the sky, bringing death. Them and their wars and conflicts, always wanting something. Jenna thought her people were safe on the edge of modern civilization, isolated from other nations' quarrels. Somehow, the troubles of the world have found them again. Amethyst's brows bend to a frown and she draws her spear. She tosses aside her velvet cloak, revealing a trail of white patterns up her brown arms and shoulders. She's known in combat. Jenna never understood how a woman so feminine could be a savage in battle. Where are they? Her eyes search the darkness for intruders. I'm not sure. The two leap down, their bare feet hitting the moist grass. Amethyst points her finger. I'll go in this direction to investigate. You go west and see what you encounter. If you get into trouble, sound a signal. Jenna nods and flings open her shawl. She grips the shaft of her longbow, stepping forward. Etched in the wood is the written power of the Sharkaner. The symbols travel up the shaft, and she aims it toward any unannounced intruder. She scans the area for signs of anything strange. A slight breeze rustles through the trees. They whisper again to her. She translates their language into words, sounding out syllables in her mind. Where are they? Jenna peers into the darkness of the bushes. Are they over there? If they are armed, she'll have to use her Shakana magic. She's never used it on a human soul before. It would be her first time killing. The thought of using it on someone stirs her father's words. Jenna inches forward, the moist grass squishing between her toes. At the forest line, she notices a dark patch in the woods. The shrubs move and she aims the longbow. A leaf shudders. Jenna's heart stops and the forest spins. A gust of wind blows, awakening the spirit, flowing through her chest and arms. Her heart reignites, exploding into 1,000 beats. The forest floods with light from her eyes. She inhales the magic circling the air, nourishing the pale patterns on her arms and shoulders, armoured in light. The symbols on her bow sparkle, crackling soft rumbles of thunder. She pulls back the bowstring, and a thin, luminous line emerges, lighting the trees. Her fingers tremble, holding the destructive force. Men in body armor and helmets sit at the edge of the tree line. The light shimmers on their gear the color of obsidian. "Who are you?" A man stands and runs. "Stop!" She releases the string, and a flash of light explodes, striking men backward. Trees tumble in pillars of white flames. Jenna pulls the string to her chin, holding back, hesitant to fire. "Stop now!" She doesn't want to hurt them, but she will if forced. They rise, blasting their weapons. A storm of red beams ricochet off her armor of light, hitting trees. What odd magic are they using? Jenna steadies her aim, the bow trembling, contemplating the next move. Her father's words whisper in her mind. The light was not designed to fight flesh, but darkness. A beam cuts past her, and she releases the string. A bright burst strikes several men to the ground. She fires again and again, their armor fizzling to ashes. They scream, incinerated in fire. Nothing can withstand the light of the Shekinah, the very light that created all things. Jenna ceases her frenzy of shots, exhausted from the use of magic. A ring of fiery light and smoke circles the area, reaching for the sky. Nothing moves or stirs in the bushes. A ball wobbles across the ground in licking flames. It's a head. Jenna's heart sinks, releasing a trickle of light down her cheek as tears. Why did they not stop? Why do these people want so much war and killing? This is not the way. But there's no other choice. She tried, but they wouldn't listen to her. Now she must live with the consequences. Smoke rises from the burning ashes of armor and flesh. She shields her nose from the musk stench. She steps down to the brook, inspecting the carnage, violent and wicked people. The trees moan in agony, proclaiming their innocence. "Sorry, trees, I didn't mean to hit you, forgive me." A helmet melts, sinking in a pool of flames. She's never seen what happens to humans hit by the Shekinah light. She's only heard stories from the prophets. Idon knows. He's used it before. In the darkness, 2 more men charge. A barrage of beams strikes against her light, bouncing off in orange sparks. A plant screams as the weapons scorch its leaves. How long must they challenge me? Why won't these men stop? A sharp sting cuts her shoulder. How dare they strike me with their false magical weapons? Her anger bubbles, and she flicks her hand. A wave of light rolls across the ground, pushing them backward. Jenna stretches the bowstring, ready to fire. From nowhere, a force hits her chest. Sparks explode, and she staggers back. Again and again, more shots hit her. The magic in her is weakening. She's spilled too much blood of men. The other men spring to their feet, pumping rounds against her light, the rage in her bubbles like hot water. She flicks the bowstring. A man bursts, hitting the ground in bright pieces. Sorrow floods her heart, and her Shekinah dims. She's losing strength. She can't continue killing. A beam hits her chest, knocking her to the ground. Her entire body throbs with pain. She curls to her knees, trying to catch her breath, but each sip of air is like needles prickling her lungs. A large man with glowing red eyes charges from the darkness. Like a mad demon, he swings. She ducks. Trees tumble in pieces. He swings again. She holds up her arms, shielding the attack with her chakras. Sparks flicker against the hammer punches. Jenna snatches up the longbow, bobbing and weaving his surge of swings. Whoever or whatever he is, he's fast and agile, but she's faster. She suddenly slips and stumbles backward. The raging giant hoists its mechanized arm, ready for the final blow. His body suddenly erupts into glowing ashes. A long scream travels in the air, and a halo of light crashes to the ground. A spray of dirt and soldiers fly into the air. They moan, wobbling to their feet, shaking off their wounds. Amethyst emerges covered in blankets of dust. Light beams from her eyes like 2 fierce stars. The tips of her locks glow with twinkling seashells. Her arms armoured in patterns of radiant light, and her spear bright as the sun. "Shoot that bitch!" Amethyst is smothered in a blur of orange beams. She shakes off the blasts, and a gust of light propels them backward. With both hands, she grips the spear and charges. Like a mad woman, she lets out a horrible yell and ploughs into a man, his chest bursting into white flames. She heaves him above her head. Clumps of burning flesh trickle down. Amethyst flings the flaming carcass aside and continues her rampage. She swings, and a band of light mows them into piles. Repeatedly, she pushes the spear into their chests. They yelp as the scalding spear pushes through, spewing flames of light. The soldiers' bodies lay in shambles of severed limbs and glowing flames. Some yell out as their bodies are charred. Slowly they dwindle to crackling embers and glowing remains. She marches to Jenna's side and squeezes her shoulder. "Are you okay, sister?" Jenna stands, catching her breath. "Yeah, what took you so long?" "Look at this." Amethyst tosses a large black ball with dents and burnt scratches. "I think they call it a drone?" Jenna kicks the burnt metal ball with her heel. A soldier moans. One is still breathing. His mask is open, and she notices a blonde-haired man with ashes on his face. On the side of his neck is a brand. It's shaped like an octagon with a square in the centre. I've seen this before, but I can't recall where. She kneels over him. "Who are you?" she whispers.